So it was on the 29th of April 2014. I come home from work one day. My son was 6 or 7 weeks old. So what did he weigh? 3 or 4 kilos. I came home, I picked him up after a day of work. And as I was holding him, I almost dropped him because I felt these intense stabbing pains in my stomach. It's like someone was stabbing me with 100 knives at once. And probably for a 4 or 5 year period before that, I'd felt like I'd had some sort of stomach and gut issues that I'd had been tested for, but never been scanned for. And all the tests came back relatively clear. Nothing sort of sinister was ever revealed. But yeah, when I had that episode, I knew something was wrong and I insisted with my GP to sort of send me for some scans. So I went for scans and a couple of days later, it was a Friday afternoon, I was driving and my GP called me and he asked me what I was doing. And I said, well, I'm driving. And he said, I need you to pull over. And I said, okay. And he said, he couldn't get his words out because he was crying. And I said, what's going on? He said, I need you to come and see me right now. So I went and saw him. And I remember he said, you've got 2 tumors the size of mangoes in your stomach. They've probably been growing for some time now and they're pretty close to your pancreas. So he kind of dropped that bomb on me. That was on a Friday, and he said, but it may not be life-threatening, and you're not going to know until you see a specialist. So put in an appointment with a specialist. That didn't happen until the next Wednesday, and that period between the Friday and the Wednesday were the toughest days of my life. Yeah, so sitting there with Vicky, my wife, my daughter was 3 at the time, my son was 6 weeks, and kind of life's just flashing before your eyes. You kind of think about, do I have insurance policies in place? How are the kids going to go without me? How's my wife going to go without me? I'm not going to be around to see my kids grow up. Like all of that stuff. It's just all of that stuff's just floating around your head for 4 or 5 days. And then we saw the specialist and the specialist said to me, look, it's not great, but I don't think it's life-threatening. You're in otherwise pretty good health. We think we can nuke you with really heavy chemo over a short period of time, and hopefully you'll be able to come through it. And when he told me that, like, it was a relief. So he was telling me that I had cancer, but it was a relief because comparing it to what the alternative was. So yeah, I got diagnosed with stage 3B non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which was an aggressive form of blood cancer. And they then went through a period of a couple of months to sort of test me out and come up with a treatment plan. So it actually took 2 or 3 months to come up with a really clear diagnosis. And they said because I was otherwise in a pretty healthy condition, they didn't need to rush into it, but they wanted to absolutely nuke me through the chemo process because they thought that would be the best chance of me, a long-term chance of recovery and survival.